Okay, Purple Rain the movie coming up next. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Rewind, Relive, and Review. I'm Rick, aka Graybeard. Got a good one here for you today. We are going over the movie Purple Rain, starring Prince, Apollonia, and Morris Day. Without further delay, let's get to it. Okay guys, so Purple Rain came out in 1984, and this film is a musical, it's a drama, and it's got a little bit of everything in it. Romance, humor. The film was scored by Prince, and it stars Prince, and this is his acting debut. This movie has several concert sequences featuring Prince and his band, The Revolution. Purple Rain was directed by Albert Magnoli, who later became Prince's manager. And this was written from a screenplay by Magnoli and William Blinn. Principal photography for Purple Rain took place almost entirely in Minneapolis, and the film features many local landmarks, including the Crystal Court of the IDS Center and the legendary First Avenue nightclub, which was paid $100,000 for the club being used during filming. It was closed for 25 days. Wish I could get $100,000 for... Now, Purple Rain grossed over $72 million worldwide. Its initial budget was only $7.2 million. That is one heck of a profit. The film did win an Oscar for Best Original Song Score, and in 2019 it was added to the Library of Congress for preservation in the National Film Registry for being culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant. Now, the critics have said it, and I'm gonna say it too. I believe that Purple Rain is one of the best musicals, and the Purple Rain soundtrack is one of the best, if not the best, soundtrack to a motion picture. But then again, I might be biased because it came out in the 80s, and I believe everything in the 80s was far superior than any other decade before or after. Now, as I mentioned, the movie Purple Rain had a soundtrack called Purple Rain, featuring a song called Purple Rain. That's a lot of purple. Anyway, the soundtrack featured two US chart-topping singles, When Doves Cry and Let's Go Crazy. Purple Rain itself was number 2. Now, I'll be sure and get to the album in another video, but as far as the film, the kid is a talented but troubled frontman of his Minneapolis band, The Revolution. And to escape his difficult home life, his father verbally and physically abuses him and his mother. He spends his days rehearsing and his nights performing at the First Avenue nightclub. Playing at that club, in addition to The Revolution, is the flashy Morris Day and his group The Time, and Dez Dickerson and his group The Modernaires. There are tensions within the band because the guitarist Wendy and the keyboardist Lisa have songs that they would like to play, but the kid is unwilling to play them. Not to mention that there is pressure to draw more people into the club. And at the time, it seems like The Revolution is not packing the crowds in like they once did. Meanwhile, Morris takes under his wing a protege named Apollonia, and he wants to use her to start a girl band. Prince falls for her, steals her away from Morris, and a romance ensues. Now, I know my descriptions of the beginnings of movies is quite bland, but in this particular case, since it came out in 1984, if you haven't seen Purple Rain yet, there's probably something wrong with you. And if you have, there's no need for me to go any further. But spoilers, everything turns out alright in the end. Alright, let me tell you about the cast of the movie. Obviously, Prince plays the kid. Apollonia Quintero is Apollonia. Morris Day plays himself. Clarence Williams III is Francis L., aka Prince's father. Jerome Benton plays himself. Billy Sparks plays himself. There's a recurring theme here. And also featured in the movie is Jill Jones, Des Dickerson, Wendy Melvoin, Lisa Coleman, The Time, The Revolution, and Apollonia 6. So after the success of his album 1999, Prince confronted Cavallo and told him he would not renew his contract with him unless he got to star in a studio film, leading Cavallo to produce the film himself. Prince spent months writing down the basic plot points of the film, and Cavallo commissioned Blinn to write the script. Now, Blinn's original script, which was titled Dreams, was much darker. Now, that script was drastically revised, and many of the dark scenes were cut out. Some of these scenes included Prince and Apollonia having sex in a barn, which, by the way, is a concept of the story behind the 1985 song Raspberry Beret. That's another story for another time. Also, there would have been a scene with Prince going to Apollonia 6's rehearsal and physically fighting with members of the Time. And the scene featured Prince's mother talking to him about her shaky relationship with his father. And in addition, many scenes, such as the Lake Minnetonka scene, Apollonia first meeting Morris, and the rail yard scene were cut down because of time constraints. Now, many clips of these scenes were featured, however, in the trailer for the movie, as well as the When Doves Cry and Let's Go Crazy montage. I think it's pretty funny that Warner Brothers considered this film quote-unquote outrageous at the time, and it was accepted for distribution after an internal debate. The music industry PR man Howard Bloom advocated for it. Now, being a musical, this film and the soundtrack and other albums tied to it produced massive hits for not only Prince, but the Time as well, including Let's Go Crazy, Jungle Love, Take Me With You, The Beautiful Ones, When Doves Cry, Computer Blue, Darling Nikki, The Bird, Baby I'm a Star, I Would Die For You, and Purple Rain itself. Rotten Tomatoes has this film listed as 70% based on almost 60 reviews at the time. Now, Warner Home Video first released Purple Rain on video in 1984 while it was still in theaters. At the time, it was one of the first major releases to be sold at the lower listed price of $29.95 in the United States. It was released on DVD in 1999, and that was a bare bones edition. It was re-released on Blu-ray on July 24th of 2007 and released again on Blu-ray with a new remaster in October of 2016 as part of the Prince movie collection. Now, as far as my DVD copy, as you can see, this side has the original. This side is the widescreen edition with the bonus disc that has the music videos and concert footage. So definitely the way to go is the collector's edition, and that's the one I'm scoring. Obviously, for picture, it was done in the 80s, but I'm gonna give it a 3.0. It's still a very good picture transfer. I don't have the Blu-ray, and I imagine the Blu-ray had a better looking picture, especially the remaster re-release. Sound, you can't go wrong with sound. I give it a 3.5. Usually it goes that way with musicals. You can crank them up. They sound really, really great. And like I said, the 80s has some of the best music and movies and TV shows. That's why we do this channel, kids. Content, I'm gonna give it a 3 as well, because it does have the extra disc and the bonus features. Even though that was a lot at the time of this release, there's no digital copy and no excess documentaries like you would want to see on today's disc. So the overall score is going to be 3.16, and I gotta say, this is one of those guilty pleasure films for a lot of people. You see it on at night, you stop changing the channels, and you can't help but find yourself watching the movie. As dated as most of this movie is, it's still a great movie. And I give Prince all the props in the world. A $7 million budget, and you make a $70 million film. You can't argue with that. That is success, my friends. That is success. Listen, Purple Rain is good for when it came along. And like I said, it's dated, but it still stands the test of time. Alright, so that's Purple Rain, the movie featuring Prince. I've also got another video for you, Purple Rain, the soundtrack. If you want to see that, click right there. And as always, like, share, subscribe. Make sure that you don't miss any videos. Hit that notification bell. Stay positive, stay blessed. I'll see you guys again soon.